Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of Ranwin Parked, as we explore the wonderfully addicting world of used cars for sale on the internet. I am your host, Cone Dodger, joined by Kurt J. Mack and ZK. I have taken over the role of host. I don't know if they're aware, but it has happened, and we are now going to cut it over to Kurt J. Mack in charge of the news.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na. News. Thanks, Cone.
There's nothing like to bring that in with.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah, there is some news relating very much to the topic of this here podcast, in that one website, listing site, back in the ye old days of April 15th of this year, started charging $5 for car listings from private sellers, which they only previously charged to dealers. And it used to be free if you were just an owner, a random Craig off the road to sell your car. It used to be free to post your car. Now it's $5.
Right.
Yes. Thoughts? Have we noticed any differences
Absolutely.
in the quality of listings?
Yep.
Not, I can't say as though I've seen a difference in quality, but I've seen a difference in quantity.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot less really low effort ones, like the single picture finger in front of the license plate ones, like buy my car. Like, I haven't seen any of those pop up a lot because most of those people now just put stuff on Facebook.
Is it free on Facebook?
Yeah, currently it's still free to post stuff on Marketplace, I believe.
So initially I was like, this is great. It's going to get rid of the double post, like people posting the same car 15 times. It's going to get rid of the people that, like you said, don't put any effort into it. But it's bad because a lot of the fun stuff's going to be gone.
It's bad for this podcast in particular that started right around the time
Right.
the fee came into effect.
I
I noticed certainly immediately less listings. I've kind of noticed a very slight uptick recently. Like maybe initially people were like, "Oh, $5, I'm not doing that," but now they're realizing that they're not getting results elsewhere, so they might start coming back and being like, "Okay, I'll spend $5."
Craigslist kind of came out of old internet, and it's very much so a website still built on a very kind of archaic UI, and it's always seemed very it's kind of the hipster of the classified services. Like what it does well.
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace is still a little bit of a disaster.
It's a nightmare.
It's also on Facebook, which is...
And if you're not on Facebook, I found out today, you really can't use it at all. Like, you can see all of everything in your area, but you can't, whittle down or put filters on any of your searches unless you have a Facebook account.
It's fine because the filters on Facebook don't do anything anyway. Well, they make you pick a lot of things, so a lot of people, it won't let you continue until you click something, so a lot of people click the very first thing on the list. So there's a lot of Nissan 200 SXs, which
Chevy
are really
Avalanches.
anything. Yeah.
Yep.
Just because it's the first thing that's under the Chevy category.
Also, you can only search within a 100-mile radius of yourself. And if you want to search somewhere else, you need to pick another town that's 100 miles away from you and then search from that radius.
What other choices are there?
I don't know. Please tell us.
Yes, we need this information.
You have stuff like bring a trailer, but even that's kind of going...
And that's so... It's high effort stuff. It's stuff that...
Yeah.
It's the I know what I have audience.
Yeah, that's curated. You have to actually be allowed to spend $99 or whatever it is to put your listing there.
Yeah. All right, well, now that we have the news out of the way, let's get into the ads, including Ranwin Part, as we typically start with. I'm going to shake things up. Things are going to get weird. I'm going to start with ZK.
No. Oh no.
Mm-hmm. You weren't ready for this.
Mm-mm.
And were we ready for this? Is the world ready for this? Please tell us what you have here.
It is a 92 Mazda MX-3 that is covered in something and a lot of acorns.
Oh, but
Is
Yeah,
that the
and
before?
then I don't know.
that has to
I
be
don't-
the before, right?
Like, if they actually cleaned it off, then I'm impressed.
Yeah, the clean pictures, it is in a different location,
Yeah.
and the hood is down.
What does the ad itself say? Car ran when parked. Clear blue Texas title.
Yeah, that means it's a, like, non-salvage title. Because
Oh.
they're different color for some reason.
It's Texas. They go by the grade of, like, beef, or how you would make a
can't-
fancy steak.
This is a
You can't grade
well-done
beef.
title.
Yes.
So, I really like the MX-3, like, shape, because it's this weird little two-door hatchback thing.
I always loved this rear window, yeah. And
Yeah.
I've recently found out Kurt has a thing for weird rear windows.
I have a
Huh?
weird window thing. this one's kind of a bubble, though. I don't
It
know
is,
about the
but
bubble.
this is see-through. Like
Is
this
that-
is part of the window.
Oh, I thought that the hat or the spoiler like wasn't connected, but I see it's kind of
Is there
a separate piece of glass there.
Trying
Yeah.
to see it, yeah. It's a weird rear window setup. They're very small. Oh, mold.
Oh, yeah, it's got the moldy interior.
Oh yeah. There's so many different eras of this car in one ad.
To me, it's like straight early 90s. Everything is round and bubbly, and there's not a sharp line on the car at all.
Even the
It does
wheels.
remind me. Yeah, it does remind me of the Cavalier,
Mm-hmm.
the 04 Cavalier I had. The interior, particularly, obviously not the exterior, but
Oh, all the mold?
yeah, all the molds, those air vents.
Oh, it's got the little automatic seat belts, too.
Yep.
Oh,
92. That was a choice
Um,
in the early 90s, and I guess a little bit late 80s. You could either have airbags or you could have automatic seatbelts, and the insurance companies would give you the same rate break on your insurance. So that's why automatic seatbelts became a thing in the States.
And they never were good at all.
I really liked them. I only took them out of red because it was a really hacked up car and they didn't work right. But I kept them in my daily driver ones.
One thing I like about these is the Japanese version came with the smallest V6 ever.
Yeah, we didn't
The
get a V6
1
for one,
point-
right?
No, we didn't.
Only the
but-
MX-6 had the V6.
Yeah, but these came with the 1.8 liter V6. Which is just crazy.
Yeah, a good friend of ours, one Daffy Flyer of the automation development team, has a Lantis, which is kind of the same family of car, basically. I guess I don't know much about them, but they're all kind of in the same family, and it has that tiny displacement V6, and it's hilariously slow for one, but also sounds like an old Formula One car.
Yeah, these are like they made 130 horsepower with the 1.8 liter.
And I bet you this little 4-cylinder version probably not that much less.
Depending on if that's a dual cam, it makes 106.
Looks like a single cam. Just judging
Single
by the-
cams were 88.
Kurt's just like, how would you know that?
yes.
I had the wiki page open already.
Under all that schmuzz and leaves.
No, it looks like a single cam.
Single cams always have a round valve cover, like the cams in the middle, and dual cams typically have very squared off and wide.
Or sometimes two bumps, depending on if they're
Right.
like an older style.
Yeah, like the Supra has 2 cam towers actually, so it looks like 2 different heads on one head. Okay,
You learn something every day.
there you go. Now you know more about the Mazda MX-3 than these are really good chump cars. Very good chump cars, or like lemon
I bet
cars,
this.
whatever.
I don't know if this. Like, part of me thinks this thing would run forever, but part of me thinks it would blow up immediately.
I know a lot of Mazdas have had head gasket issues over the years. Head gasket?
I guess it.
Very good. That's great.
I watch YouTube sometimes.
Sometimes, do you browse for old Japanese
No.
cars sometimes?
Never. But I did find the car that could stand in for the one in our logo. This is a sad state of affairs. Yeah.
Wait.
Look at that hole. That's a weird spot for a rust hole
It
to
is.
appear, I think.
Please introduce it.
A 78 280Z. Not a 2+2, because those are just
No one likes those.
disgusting.
They kind of
Four-speed
are.
manual. Paint code 517 gold. The full AC system is still intact.
Intact, not working.
Yeah. Aftermarket sunroof.
Oh,
Here's where
no.
everything went wrong. Right there.
Well, they're all aftermarket. They didn't come from the
Yeah.
factory with them. It's a whole car, mostly. A whole car. This is a parts car now. I think this person is kind of in denial about that.
What parts?
Not the body.
Oh my.
Not the body or the doors.
Every single,
Not the
like, all the
dash.
chrome is gone. Not the steering wheel, not the shifter.
The radio looks
Oh
all right.
my.
Yeah.
You can see the ground through
And this
the
is-
passenger.
Someone's been here before. Like, this has already been patched. There's probably some good engine parts.
Well,
And
yeah.
it's a later year Z, which means it has fuel injection instead of carburetors.
Yeah, I think all the 280s. They made that switch with the 260. I know things too about cars.
Look at
see?
you go.
Single
It's got the
double
little.
cam.
It's got the little engine bay flashlight down there at
The
the bottom.
flashlight.
Oh, yeah, the
If-
Super
If
amp,
the
that's-
flashlight works, then that's a good buy.
How much did they want for this?
1500?
1,500.
1,500 for some sheet metal, like literally just sheet metal. You
A
could.
little bit of chrome.
Those door handles look nice.
And an engine.
Some
I
gauges.
don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sad.
not the right wheels. So this, I almost guarantee you, is from this.
Yeah,
The-
if you go
the
back
hole
to
in
the
the roof?
description, the very last paragraph, or yeah,
Oh yeah.
sunroof leaked and it didn't do the interior any favors.
But it's all there. It's
all
not.
there.
You can't say things like that when you can see through the roof.
And through the floor, and I'm
Yeah, I make the joke all the time about cars that have really rusted floors that they have inverse T-tops. This one has both.
Yeah.
This is
Panoramic.
This is one overweight American away from folding in half. Because that's rusty.
Yeah, that's just the worst picture
I
right
kind of
there.
want this passenger seat. That's in pretty good shape. It'd fit in the pickup really well.
it depends if it
Are you
cleans
sure?
up. Yeah,
Do you want more fleas, Cone? This is how you get more fleas.
I think that's worse than fleas, probably.
You know, to the
Flesh-eating
audience
bacteria.
that maybe doesn't know what's going on, they just think I'm a human that has fleas now, you know.
And we can leave it at that. Next car.
All right, well, after that amount of rust, I bring to you
Even more rust.
a 1961 Buick Skylark convertible. $1,300. But let me please read
Wait.
the description to you.
That's convertible. Go on, though. Please continue.
It is a 1961 Buick convertible. No rust, no interior, top and motor and trans all there. Run when parked, needs carb cleaned and gas tank cleaned. May trade, but if trade price is higher, car has no rot in it. Top sitting on car is from a 62 bubble top. Don't go with car. No title, bill of sale
Oh.
only.
Oh, okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
see. There's the different. Okay,
It's
now
not
I can see
even
the.
remotely from this car. No.
Yeah.
the thing that really struck me with this one was the really bold claims.
Shoot for the moon, right?
And had the audacity to say ran when parked just needs carb cleaned.
Car run when parked.
Car run when parked. So it only runs when parked.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
Like I'm all about it. Like going to find cars that have been sitting for a long time, and you know those old school cars. You throw some fuel in them and they go. That ain't gonna happen here.
Not this one.
That's...
And no rust? No rust.
It says, well, it does say no rust, and then it says no rot, and I could maybe see some of that. Like, it doesn't look like it's...
Literally the entire car is covered in surface rust.
Right, but it doesn't look like it's rotted through anywhere, but we can't see the floors and we can't see under it.
See, now the car that's parked behind it, that has a little bit of rot.
That's actually the frame of this car. And it just rolled off of it. On a side subject, I kind of like these bodied Buicks. Not in the convertible.
Like, trying to think like how this looks with like actually paint on it, and like I like the shape of it and everything too. Yeah,
it's right before the era when they started to just get big for the sake of being big.
Yeah,
so that's why I like them.
That front bumper and like the grille and headlight, that all looks shiny, which is something that can easily be mistaken in photos. But yeah, everything else, geez.
Yeah.
That engine bay shot is just
almost looks like it was in a fire. But there's too much plastic stuff that's lived, like the taillights and whatnot.
The engine bay of that looks worse than the Corvair did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that definitely doesn't run.
All right, that was Ran When Parked. Now we move on to I'd Make That Mistake, which I'm pretty sure was also Kurt's Ran When Parked, but let's...
That's a mistake I wouldn't make.
There's a line in the sand somewhere, and we found it. This does not count, ZK.
Hey, let me defend myself. You can just look at the very top line right there. I tried to make this mistake, and it was going to be a big mistake. So this is a 93 Buick Roadmaster estate wagon, and the perfect color combination that I like. It is the wrong year, however, on eBay I found this, and I was like, oh man, this is a Roadmaster. It's the wrong year, but it's the right color. It's $800 to start, I'll bid. And then I bid, and then I confirmed my bid, and then just scroll through the pictures. And then I realized the mistake.
Oh, I know a lot about this car, and I hadn't seen that.
Just keep going.
Oh.
What a picture this is. Like, this is some composition right here. That's an interesting stain.
Yeah.
So, I need a few things from you right now, okay?
Yeah.
I need A, an explanation of why Roadmasters, and B, an explanation of how you convinced Powers to buy this thing.
So, I really don't know what it is about these that I really like. I think it's basically the end of the American station wagon. Specifically, the 96 is probably the one I would buy. And I also like them in the purple.
With the wood, or would you rather not the wood?
Either way, the wood's only a vinyl, so if I ever get tired of it, you can just peel it off, and there's paint underneath.
Are you telling me that is not real wood?
Shock.
I can't believe it.
But they're big American station wagons with V8s. Yeah, I don't.
I thought that was like a Photoshop.
Nope.
No, it
brush.
looks like they put a weird pillow over the rear license plate to cover it.
I never noticed
So,
the
yeah,
wiper up there. Sorry.
I tried to make this mistake. I really did. And then I realized how bad it was. And I was like, hey, so Powers, that weird 24-hour endurance race we're doing later this year, I might have accidentally bought a car. And then I said that, and I didn't get any response from anyone. And then I got an email saying I'd been outbid by $10 by Powers.
By him. And I would like, there's a little nugget of this story that I really, really like, and that there was 3 bids on this vehicle. One was you.
One was Powers.
And then one was Powers again.
He really wanted to make sure to win it.
It is a lot of car for $810.
Yeah, and so the thing is
that
that
sunroof or like a...
it's like
Is there a better picture?
really cool. Not on this
like a-
listing, no. But it's like they call it the Vista roof. It's actually like some fancy feature, and it has like a power like sunshade and all the glorious
It doesn't
things.
open, but it has like a cloth shade to cover it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those panoramic in like a train.
Yes.
What are those called?
This
Yeah,
is very
you know,
much so like a train.
Actually, yes, closer than I could have possibly accidentally said.
But I bid on this because, like, I'll get outbid if I just do the opening bid of $800 because these are actually worth, like, if it's in decent shape, at least a couple grand. So I wasn't expecting to win it, and I thought it'd be funny if I did win a Roadmaster in the correct color for $800, and then I didn't look at all the pictures beforehand. So in other news, we're going to be driving this later this
So
year.
you are still going to get an experience with this car.
Yes. Oh,
How
yeah,
many tires do you think this will use? For a little bit of information, the race is a 24-hour endurance race on a 3/8 mile oval. I believe
that sounds
3/8.
right.
Can it make that turning circle?
Apparently one ran this last year. But
I don't know how it did.
I just want to know how many tires it will go through.
All of them.
Because that's a lot of car turning the same direction all the time.
And I didn't include it because it wouldn't really work for this format, but there was a video of Powers, because he did go and pick this up. He did win the auction, of how blown the suspension was.
Everybody, we need you to share the show with your friends, anybody that might like the show, anybody that can help us out, because we can't even afford to have the right version of Zoom. So let's just go ahead and restart that now.
And another thing I like about the Roadmasters is this crazy rear tailgate that opens 2 directions. Like, it both folds down like a truck tailgate and opens to the side like a door.
Suck it, Honda Ridgeline. Roadmaster had it way before you.
They didn't have them up in this picture either, but it's also got the rear-facing jump seats. So you can, the tailgate helps people get in and out.
Yeah. So yeah, this part becomes a seat, I think.
Yeah, it just like folds up. And then look at all this room. You can put plywood and other manly things in the back of there.
Or 15 sets of tires.
Yes, that we'll definitely need. But
I can't
look
get
how
over this
cushy those
picture.
are.
I just
It looks
just
so
something
comfortable.
about this picture that really.
Can you smell the back seat?
That's what it is. Like, my grandparents had an Oldsmobile that had this exact same color interior, and I can smell that smell of velour and cigarette smoke in my mind right now, and it's freaking me out.
It's so good.
The thing I can feel and hear the GM standard buckles.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're very tactile, and
Yeah.
They're
have a
also,
really-
now this might just be a Florida man thing, the hottest thing beyond
Yes.
the surface of the
Yes.
sun.
many a time in my grandpa's Suburban, I have burned myself on those.
Yep. That was not a great idea.
Wait, in the back of that seat pocket, does it say Co? Goo?
Bob? I see. I don't know.
603. 309. It's upside down.
Now we just need to get the back of the Declaration of Independence and we'll solve the code.
All right, we're out of here. Kurt J. Mack, what mistake would you make?
This is a mistake that y'all are really trying to make sure I never ever make.
You should never make this.
One of us is really, really set on you not making this mistake.
I figure if you're going to make the mistake, just keep it
Go all
as
in.
low cost as possible, but get the most bang for your buck with count them, two Porsche 944s.
It does say 944 cars.
They are cars. Let's get that out of the way. Technically speaking, anyway. But this guy is tired of these sitting in his yard and wants them to be made to go away. They're both 84s.
Bought with the intent of building a rally car out of the silver one.
Yes. Which is strange, as you'll see, because the black one is the one with a roll cage and a fuel cell, and seems like it was trying to be made into a race car. But that's beside the point. Yeah, the black one was going to be a Chump or Lemon's car. Has a hideous cage. Hideous, but it runs okay.
Well, that's
Kinda
hideous.
see it. Yeah, it's like a Wreckfest
That is
car.
straight out of Wreckfest.
The numbers go over it.
And what is this diamond plate gas tank? Question mark. Whoa! Look at the roof. It's like industrial bolted together.
This could have gone well with the Mad Max car from the first episode.
Really would. Is this the? Yeah, this is the silver one.
The silver one has an interior.
Yeah, the silver one looks like it could be rescued.
Maybe.
Even in making such a mistake, I don't even know about rescue. I figure just put as little money into it as possible, because eventually a rubber belt is going to break and the whole thing is going to go kaput. They just seem like they might not even be fun. They just look good.
Yeah, no, that's the 944s. That's my entire thing. Like I do really like the way they look. Everything else about them.
Indifferent. I really like the 968s, which is like a weird mishmash of a 928 and a 944. But they have the same problems that these have, which is, this thing.
The gigantic 4-cylinder.
Gigantic 4-cylinder.
It's what, like a 3 something?
They went from like a 2.5 liter up to a 3 liter.
Yeah. And they're not.
And
good engines.
another weird little tidbit. That's exhaust piping right there. Another weird little tidbit is that the naturally aspirated ones were 4-valve per cylinder, and the turbo were always 2-valve per cylinder.
And they had weird transaxles in the rear.
They did. It was a torque tube car.
Mm-hmm.
And Kurt.
I'm learning more about this mistake in my future than I've ever known previous to this.
It took 3 people to change 2 days to change the water pump.
Yes,
3
I get
people.
The water pump and the timing
2 days.
belt is like a crazy time sink and expense.
Now, if you get people that are like, there are people that are all about these cars. They will say, I can do that water belt, or I can do that timing belt in 15 minutes. The fact that they've had to do it enough that they can do it in 15 minutes does not make me feel any better about it. Is this supposed to be a cold air intake? I guess. Like I see it all the time where people cut a hole in the hood and they like put the exhaust out the hood on race cars that are like, cheap, crappy race cars. And a lot of times I see turbos that stick out of the hood. This is just an NA car that somebody's put a cone, like a pod filter on that's so big that they cut a hole in the hood for it. I think the worst part is that this thing had a title. Like, this car should not have been done this wrong. This is what you do to a car that has no title, has been wrecked before, and convicted of crime.
Convicted of crime.
Yes, its crime was it was a 944, and that's all it needed.
Somebody out there is upset with you.
Good.
All right. Which mistake would I make today?
Did you get another Mitsubishi?
I didn't. I broke the trend, everybody. This is a mistake I didn't know I would make. And those are the most fun to me. When I'm browsing through and I find a car that I'm just like, that exists, I need it, that's probably terrible. And that is this. This is a 1977 Triumph TR7 Coupe that I didn't know existed. I thought they were all convertibles.
I was only familiar with like the TR6 and maybe the TR8. I didn't know the TR7 was a thing.
I knew of the TR7, but I did not know there was a coupe because I don't really like convertibles. I don't really like Triumphs. Like, I've never seen one that I was like, that's something I would want. And then some part of this spoke to me. I'm not going to say which part. You'll just have to guess.
For the folks at home, it's the plaid interior.
Hey. I also really like clamshell hoods.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Those are always the best.
But yeah, this
Like
is
the Saab.
it's neat.
Speaking of windows, I like the. It's a very unique door window. Like it flares back like that instead of being just like a vertical line.
I feel like everything's shared with the convertible there. Like that looks like it would make more sense with a convertible top. I wish there was a picture of the rear. Like I want to see what the rear window looks like. But I don't. I'm going to leave it up to my own imagination so that I can pretend that it's really cool. The interior's kind of, a lot of these cars of this era, they're very built in a shed kind of quality. And it looks like that. Like everything just looks like it's very fragile. But I don't know, it just looks neat. And I've never really seen anything like this before that I would find interesting. The motor's not crazy interesting.
V4?
I don't think it actually is. I believe they are incorrect with that. Because that looks like 4 spark plugs on one side of the engine.
Yeah, okay. I was just looking at how close it is to the windshield and being like, well, wait a minute, where's... my sense of scale with the hood is all off.
It's sunken in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the engine's very interesting. I was doing a little bit of research, and it's just kind of a very lazy engine in it. And there's nothing really fantastic about it. But this is one of those cars that I put into my category of I'd autocross anything. Because I think if you showed up to an autocross with this, you'd get a lot of people looking at you. Especially as it body rolls into next century around the first turn.
It's got hood vents, though. Those are cool.
It's cool. It's really cool. This is something, I swear Kurt's done this to me. But I'm now obsessed with cars that have vents on the B or C pillars.
Just decorative vents, even?
Yeah, I'm sure those don't do anything, but they look cool.
It's also got cool side graphics.
I like the pinstripes. There's a lot to like here. And $4,500, this seems like a pretty interesting, unique vehicle for $4,500. Obviously been repainted. There's your clue.
And duct tape on the coolant hose, I'm assuming?
I think that's just like that heat shield wrap.
Okay.
But those are some weird... everything of this engine bay looks weird, doesn't it?
It looks like they had an engine and they put it in and they're like, crap, where do we put everything else?
Mm-hmm. It really does. It's a very accidental engine bay. And if it wasn't hard enough to work on, just because of this, you also get this.
Go back to that engine bay picture. Bottom left, you can tell they painted.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can tell it's repainted.
Not the exhaust this time, just
the
the AC parts and relays and things. That's got to be a really lazy paint job.
I'm sure. Yeah, this is one of those cars. I feel like all the cars that had this look to them, right when they went to the safety bumpers and right when pop-up headlights were kind of new, they went through a long phase of being unloved because they just looked so instantly dated that
Yeah.
people just kind of fell out of love with them really quick. And it's taken this much time. And now when I look at this, I think that's a 77. I would have easily confused that for an 87. So it's actually kind of forward in design.
Hmm.
Yeah, without the safety bumpers on there, it looks like a pretty cool shape.
Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the Triumphs were, but the safety bumpers definitely. I also kind of like this steering wheel. With the, I don't usually like the big,
It
foam
looks like
pad
a
center.
90s steering wheel. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it looks
All I
like
know
a
is
bumper car steering wheel.
this whole car is a Triumph.
Well, that's the last episode of the podcast, friends. It's been nice.
Oh, man. I think this is probably the one so far that I would actually make that mistake. Like, I joke, like, I'd make that mistake. But if I honestly had $4,500 sitting in my pocket for no reason, that would be in my driveway. Probably not for long, but it would
Don't
be
be
there.
like me.
The ghost of Christmas present is visiting us.
All right, it's time to see if we know what I know, you know that I know what I have. Did you follow that?
No.
I know.
Good. ZK. Oh, so thematic.
Mm-hmm. Another Porsche. This
Is-
one being an 85 911 Carrera.
This is definitely the highest priced thing we've ever shown.
No. Sneaky Pete was a little bit more than this.
Ah, okay.
But the price on this, like, I was like, wait a second. And I looked these up, and this is at least 20% more than what these go for.
What is this?
This is a, like I said, 85 911 Carrera. Apparently it has the M491 package, which is special.
I heard the air quotes when you said that.
It's special.
Like, I like Porsches in the sense that I think they're good and they're probably fun to drive, but not $65,000 worth of fun and good to drive. And there is just so much about this car that is not worth this much money. And I don't understand it. The 3.2 liter M930/21 flat 6 made 207 horsepower and 192 foot-pounds of torque when new. 200 horsepower? For 75 grand? Or 65
mean,
grand?
In a Porsche from 1985, 207 horsepower was a lot.
65 grand, 139,000 miles.
I think what you've done best here is display the snobby I know what I have mentality, and that is doing things like including the number codes of the packages on the car for the options.
He's also part of the Porsche Club. One of them, at least, has a Porsche COA. I don't know, man. Like, I saw this, and I will admit, I like the way these look. This one's a pretty clean example of. But I feel like they're way overhyped. Yeah, the oil in the door pocket. And I don't know. I really want to like them and be a Porsche guy, but everything about this is why I can't be.
There's so much right in this picture. Like, everything looks so nice. They have a picture of it running, which I always appreciate. Everything looks clean. And then there's a pod filter from AutoZone on there that just completely does not belong and does not look like it should be on a $65,000 car. Cody's
And-
rant of the day.
These shouldn't be $65,000.
Also, have a little bit more compassion in the way that you take pictures of your $65,000 car than to take a picture of it in front of a porta potty.
It's fitting. They're both crap.
It is not crap. This is a fantastic and amazing automobile.
Okay.
It is just not for somebody with $64,000 just like wanting to spend that on the ultimate driving experience. This is not it. Maybe if it was $35,000 I could see it, but for 64 grand, I think you could probably do better.
Another thing I like that they included is only 213 M491 coupes were made in the United States for the 85 model year. It's like saying there was only, 30 of these in this color and transmission and option.
Yeah, they're really trying to present this as something special and rare.
And that's the thing about the old Aircore Porsches. Like, I don't know why exactly they got so popular and expensive in the past 5 years when they're everywhere. And like 10 years ago, they were worthless.
I guess we just don't get it. You've never driven one, right?
No, I've
never driven one. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Kurt's never driven one.
I know that the engine's in the back.
We wrecked a bunch of them in a Assetto Corsa.
Yeah.
I also don't know a lot of things about Porsches, so like all these option codes and model things, like I have no idea what these mean.
When you have to separately list that it has a sports seat on the left
and the right.
Okay, you're trying too hard. Let's get out of here before ZK's blood pressure rises.
Here we go. Watch out. Whoops.
Oh,
it's a JPEG.
yeah.
Sorry. A short bus camper conversion / tiny house seeking new owner for a respectable $8,500 for a 2005 Ford Econoline 450 Super Duty.
Is it for sale or for adoption?
It's something. Price drop, too. They had it. Oh, my. Yeah, this is why I chose it, because they knew what they had and maybe somebody told them. It's right now asking $8,500, but they were asking $7,000 more previously.
Yeah, it says they were asking $15,500 originally.
Yeah. And I when we go through the pictures,
I really like the door with the sliding latch.
Yes.
And the hinges.
You'll be pleased to know what's holding it on the inside, because I'm not entirely sure that this vehicle is roadworthy in its current condition. I think it is more of a tiny house. There's your door lock and or door holder on her part. I guess that was supposed to be, I don't know what that was going to be, a shower?
That looks like
a bathroom?
Yeah, that looks like a toilet paper holder.
Yeah.
That's too big.
It's got the little springy thing.
Maybe you just need a full paper towel.
Whoa.
Now there's the touch. The wood roof paneling on the inside.
So something about this picture is giving me like weird vertigo.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's twisting while I'm looking down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just because it's tilted, it's because like everything is whoa.
Look how
A gas
short,
stove.
Like you would never stand up.
Mm-mm.
It's built on the seat level. Like it's not built at the walking floor level, I think. Cuz that's a little mini fridge there and it's halfway up the vehicle.
Yeah, they had a bus, and instead of taking the bus stuff out, they just put the house stuff in. Except for the door. They replaced the door.
With wood.
With wood and a wood handle.
I bet it seals very well.
Yeah, you see, here's the thing. If the floor was here, it would be useful. But it's not. The floor is here. It's like halfway up.
My girlfriend and I are heading back to the East Coast, which means our adventure mobile and primary residence needs a new crew. So you're not just buying somebody's old car, you're buying somebody's house.
They lived in that?
According
They
to
have
these
a stone
documents.
path and a floor mat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think this car has seen the road. Oh, man. Is it ran when parked, too? Oh, wait. That first... It no longer runs, yep, and we'll need work to get running. We had an engine fire while driving it to get fuel and air for the tires. The result of an unidentified rat nest catching fire in the engine compartment.
I thought they meant they needed to get fuel for the tires, and I was very confused.
You know, that fuel-air mix that you put in your tires these days. They were asking $15,500. Now it's down to $8,500.
What kind of rent does this thing have?
Yes, can we post it on Airbnb? I'm sure you can make the money back there.
Do you get a loan or do you get a mortgage?
It's their home. They're emotionally attached to it. They know what the good times they've had on that plywood
That is a
plank.
really unique take on the I know what I have, and one of the best, I think. They know what they have, and we're going to be converting this show into a real estate preview show.
Mm-hmm. Specializing in tiny homes. They're all the rage.
Speaking of tiny homes,
Oh, yeah.
this is a 1985 Chevy G20 van dash patina slash cool slash dash $10,650. So this is a van for $10,000 that it has the worst kind of patina. And that is the kind... We'll get there. That is the kind where you take a vehicle that has faded paint and you like spray paint different spots of it, and then you like sand it down, and you basically fake a vehicle having lots of layers of paint that have like faded over the years. When I say I hate patina, this is what I hate.
It looked like it was cleared over. Like, go back one picture, and the side is shiny.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me get through this ad to try. We'll try and find $10,000 here real quick.
Well, half of it's in the wheels.
Probably.
At least.
There's 5 of them, too, don't forget. The spare is a full-size spare in the back.
I am the second owner of this van and have done everything to it. Maybe don't admit
And
that.
I mean everything.
Has a 350 with a smooth shifting automatic transmission. Full sound system with 2 12s. The van has a PA off a fire truck on it, so you can talk to the crowd as you pull up to car shows.
Everybody at car shows loves that.
Everybody.
Yes. The
4
crowd.
captain's chairs that spin 360 degrees and face each other. It does have a tow package. It has cleared and custom old school pinstriping throughout the van, inside and out. Brand new 20s with a matching spare, and then it gets weird.
Oh, my.
It's very soft inside. Like, if you imagine what weird, creepy vans look like inside, this is it. But it's got patina and it's cool.
With green carpet on the floor, brown
Beige?
carpet on the walls.
On the walls, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
It says never been smoked in. I don't know what type of cigarettes they're talking about.
Oh, man. I mean, I've heard the vans are like, they're coming back. They're going to be cool again. That's what I keep hearing.
Not this van.
Not sure this is the van people are talking about.
There's got to be a great deal of from the wheels rubbing on the inside of those arches there, because that just does not look like the that fits at all, particularly in the front.
Like at first I was like, oh, cool, a van. Oh.
I figured that would be.
At least the AC works, I guess.
If Paul's watching, he went from like he probably just saw the word van and was like, ooh, and then just slowly started weeping.
What gets me about this is, so everything that's wrong with these vans, like if you were to go look for one, this is perfect. It's got like all the body panels are straight, all the chrome is there, all the badging's there, everything looks good except for they've ruined it.
We'll get away from that immediately. Personal quests. CK, what's your personal quest of the week?
What we have is a 98 Nissan 240SX manual, which is a very rare combination for an S14 to have a manual.
I don't know about very rare, but...
They're pretty rare. And also a perfectly stock 240. Nothing done to it.
They changed the radio.
Nah.
I was waiting for that.
However, I will admit, if you see a 240 that has this OEM muffler still on it, that's an original car.
Yeah. And that binder was full of all the service records and stuff they had of it.
Oh, man.
How many of these pages are injectors?
Just the middle section. But yeah, it's a very clean Koki S14.
Let's see a price.
The very first one, $8,000.
$8,000, which I think it's insane to me, but I think it's kind of on the money for nice Kokis.
Yeah, especially ones that are stock and not messed up. Supposedly has 225,000 miles on it, but
I believe it. That's
yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things that's very not well defined with 240s, because people think they're crap, but that's just the way people treat them.
Yeah.
They actually were really long-lasting cars.
As long as you took care of them.
Right. Every S14 I've ever seen has had this steering wheel issue where the cover starts to become a butt.
It is quite the butt.
But other than that, they held up really well.
So is this the body style that one vintage beef likes?
This is Vintage Beef's preferred 240 style.
240,
yes.
I see.
It is not my perfect color. I would like the more seafoam or greenish color.
I love the green. Yeah, that like pearly green. It's a very good color for them. I also like them when they have the lip on the front. Like there's a bottom chin piece here that the SEs had. Is this an SE?
Yes. Supposedly. It's got the badge on the back.
No, it does, yeah. It might have been non-optioned, or it might have been broken off.
Yeah, but it looks like whoever owned this took care of it.
Oh yeah,
as best they could.
It's hard to hide body damage on a black car, so
yeah,
it's pretty straight. What's your feel on the side skirts that do this? They got like the side skirts that swoop in the middle.
Take them or leave them. I'm not hugely invested in them, really.
That was a flash in the pan thing. Like it was 1995 came around and somebody out there was like, side skirts, they need swoops in them. And everybody had them for like 5 years, and then they completely disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a practicality thing. Like you get more like on-center travel. Like you wouldn't hang that up on curbs or anything. But at that point, you'd already have hit chassis anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a clean S14, which you don't see every day.
There's a lot of this is a lot of people's personal quest.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, which is why that's happening.
I could, maybe that's a sponsorship idea for us. Is just a finder's fee.
A finder's fee. Yeah, but 240 people, we would probably the seller of this car would hate us because of all the people they'd have messaging going, "Hey, you take $3,000?"
Oh,
too
God.
many people.
Oh man, you just gave me some weird flashbacks.
Oh no.
Back when I was trying to sell the CRX, someone tried to sell me or trade me guns for it.
I would love to be surprised by that, but oh man, we're hitting all the notes this week, aren't we, Kurt?
Yes, we are. I have two here actually, because the other one is kind of a joke one.
Ah,
But
let's
the
start
fun,
with this joke.
Yeah, this one is an attainable joke. For only $3,000, a Subaru SVX, which I like them. Yes, I know they're automatics.
Ooh.
This is a classic ad.
That
The blurry
very
finger.
much so did not look like a finger at first.
I know. I was scared in the thumbnail.
It's a fingernail.
Classic.
Okay.
You don't see many in just black on black because they all had the two-tone look. So I think you're missing out on that with the black paint. But yeah, these. I saw a very nice example at a car show. An older gentleman had it, and just they are incredibly over-designed.
Yes.
Yes.
Like to the point where he had the hood open, as you do at a car show, and the headlights have each their own bubble level in them, so that you could make sure your headlights are pointed correctly, which I had never seen in a car before this. Perhaps other models of the time had similar things, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
I have seen
okay,
such
that's. So yeah, I just I like them. They're cool.
You know, I know you watch like regular and other car people like that, but do you know much about the SVX, like why it exists?
Not. I've watched videos. I have not retained much of that information.
So it's kind of there was the huge economic like growth period in Japan in the early 90s, and it all became this this contest to see, you know, who could make the ultimate, you know, sports car. It was purely done out of pride. That was the only reason they were making the cars that they were, the Supra, the 300Z, the whatever. All of those cars were just, how crazy could we make a car? And Subaru was kind of just getting their grasp. Like, they were not as big as the rest of the Japanese manufacturers. And the SVX is kind of, it's their attempt at that, but they just didn't have enough parts to throw at the thing to actually make it a performance car. So they ended up kind of making the most luxurious, like the most usable of all of those cars.
Yeah, I've heard that it's a good, like, cruising car. It's very comfortable. Look at those seats.
Mm-hmm.
And the oil and wrench in the back?
Yeah, this one's $3,000. This is a little a bit on the low side for what I've seen around here, but yeah, I would I have a personal quest. This is on the list.
It's a nice engine too. The Boxer 6 runs a lot nicer, I hear, than the Boxer 4 does. I've never liked the Boxer 4, how like kind of shaky and unresponsive they are, but people really like this 6. Unfortunately, the automatic that was behind it, not only was it an automatic, it was an automatic that did not handle the torque of the engine, and it blew up a lot. That's a shame.
It's a weird car.
It's weird. I love the windows. I've always loved the windows. They're so impractical, but they're so hilarious.
Yeah, again, another just an over-designed.
And the way the back one rolls down too.
Yeah,
It's just great.
There was a second listing that I discovered for $500.
For $500.
And this description is just one long run-on sentence. I have a Subaru SVX, needs wheel bearings and brakes really badly, and probably needs a new battery since it's been sitting, but it's got a clean title that runs, and you can also start it with a screwdriver because a couple months back I broke the key on accident, and that's why you have to start it with a screwdriver. But if you want to come do more details, it's about it. It's red. Just contact me some way, and I'll talk. Dang it! I was going places there.
You were going places, but we needed to stop.
This car is being sold by Ralph Wiggum.
Look at all the skulls.
Yeah, the skulls.
Oh, that was all
But
pictures of this one.
What was it? $800 this guy won?
500.
500 even. Ooh, a deal. And you can start with a screwdriver.
If you bought both of them, I mean, it's probably a pretty good source of parts.
All right, now my personal quest is going to be really short and sweet because everybody already knows. I want, like no tomorrow, a 1979, 80, or 81 Subaru Brat. It must have round headlights, and it should have plaid seats. It should also have the back jump seats. This car is only part of that. This is a 1980 Subaru Brat that I'm sorry to say is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was close to putting this one in like the Ranwin Parked, but they were pretty straight up with this thing. It's for parts. Like it's all just too far gone. And I'm so sad. Yeah. Because every single one of these that I've found in my part of the world is like this. They rust terribly. I don't really know how I got here. I don't know how this Subaru Brat obsession started. It was very much so just me browsing through, and one caught my eye, and it just showed me that there was this whole generation of Subaru Brat before the one that everybody knows that had this front end that had round headlights. And for some reason, it just came to life for me. Like, it looks so much better. And then, I don't know, I kind of have the whole thing with my dad, who is an El Camino fanatic and has always had El Caminos. I can't just go out and get an El Camino. That'd just be, copying him. So the Subaru Brat is just kind of like, it would be interesting to me. It would be something that I would have to be, I don't know, just kind of similar, but showing my own unique, terrible interests. So to be fair, they do say that the engine and transmission are in awesome shape. There are, in this picture, 2 visible coils not hooked up. Some kind of can of something from Peak that looks like probably starter fluid or something of that nature. There is a board where the battery should be, and a coil that is in place. So I'm going to go ahead and say probably not actually in awesome shape, but just a shape.
It's in a shape. There's a book in there, too.
Oh, there was a book, yeah. The book and a ratchet that is like so buried in schmoo that they've probably forgotten about it.
Whoever was trying to get it to run gave up and just let their tools
But
go
if
with
you
the rest
find a 1980 Subaru Brat that is not in this bad of shape, here's my address now.
Y'all have the list now. Get to work. See?
At least they say it's in poor condition. They're not.
They do.
They're very good people.
They're honest.
They're very fine individuals.
I completely
Honest.
lost that word.
All right, let's take a little break from the world of used cars and listen to a little bit of insight from Cube's Corner.
I want to talk about safety. There's 2 kinds of safety. There's mechanical safety and there's driver safety. By driver safety, I mean the skills you need to survive. And as advanced as the mechanical safety has become, all the tools available to keep some dipshit from killing themselves in your new car, it's really taken the impetus away from the driver to not be a goddamn liability. And that drives me insane.
All right, 2 things here right off the bat. If you're ever wondering why Cubes isn't part of the regular run of hosts, it's because it would take us 3 times as long. Secondly, this is a next level of cubism here, because it doesn't even really have anything to do with cars as much as drivers. But the point that I think he's trying to make is cars are getting so driver safety focused. They're trying so hard to make sure the human inside of them doesn't make themselves into a meatball that it's giving people no fear of driving. Right?
Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
whole
no fear or no respect even, or
like the whole like automatic braking thing. Like on one hand, very good. On the other hand, people don't look at the road and look at their phone instead. Because the car will just brake for me.
I
And
think
this is-
I might know what prompted this cubism.
Oh.
Because he retweeted a tweet from Tesla, who retweeted somebody who recorded their autopilot swerving out of the way of a truck that swerved into their lane. And it was really like like as a driver, I would have noticed that. I would have seen that this kind of aggressively tailgating truck was going to get mad and swerve to try to pass the slow cars in front of him. And I think it probably from the autopilot things, those safety, almost not the full automated driving systems, but the things that are kind of getting to that point, lane departure warnings and lane departure assist. I could see where a lot of that stuff, to people who perhaps are obsessive about driving or kind of the procedure of driving. Not saying we wouldn't benefit from those, but we wouldn't take them as it wouldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? It wouldn't be it wouldn't distract us from already being aware of those things happening to make those reactions ourselves.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we're in this weird point where we have a lot of these semi-automated features, but they're not completely automated. So you have to pay attention because the systems don't cover everything.
But the problem is people are already letting their guard down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not to mention, right, like, once every single car on the road is self-driving, then it's perfect. But we're not there yet, and I don't know if we're ever going to quite be there. So it's really bad when people, use the radar cruise control plus the lane assist and just basically, browse their phone while being in traffic or something.
My
Instead of,
brother.
instead of, like you said, having respect for being a driver and driving around, a 2-ton vehicle.
All right, without going too long on this, I also have previous examples of this happening, and that is when ABS became normal and when manual transmissions started to become not normal. I think even in the 12 years that I've been driving, I've seen a general shift where people don't respect braking zones anymore. People don't respect braking distances and such because they have so much faith in ABS. Versus when I started driving, it was still maybe 60-40 vehicles that did or didn't have it. And as somebody who always drove old cars, I always had a lot of respect for braking distances because even though I think, I'm a fairly skilled driver and I know how to threshold brake and I know how to do that stuff, there's just no reason to put yourself into a situation where you need to exhibit those skills. So now, today, I do drive vehicles primarily that have ABS. I have never once engaged ABS in a vehicle of mine because I always give myself the distance as if I don't have it. But people don't do that anymore.
Right. I don't have the, obviously, statistics, but I think the thing they found was they thought ABS was going to reduce rear-end crashes, but they actually increased after ABS was kind of widely adopted and introduced. Maybe because people were still pumping the brakes and they didn't realize how the ABS system works, or they depended too much on it. The thing that actually helped reduce rear-end crashes is the third tail light, which is a system that makes the driver aware, not some third party, not some computer system, but it makes the driver aware something is happening so that they can react quicker. So I think that's kind of a good parallel.
Yeah, that's why I do like the little indicators a lot of cars have. If there's a car in your blind spot, like I think that's a good feature. But,
And like the backup cameras and things like that, because
Yeah.
safety regulations have made cars extremely hard to see out of.
yeah. But like I said, I think we're just in this weird in-between state where cars being safer is definitely a good thing, but people aren't paying attention.
Yeah. And back to just to touch on that, like the manual transmission thing, nobody floats traffic anymore, and nobody gives space at like hill stops or anything like that. So if you do drive manual cars now, you have to be an extra layer of hyper aware, because nobody cuts you any slack. They take all the room. That little bit, like, I will outright admit, it is inconvenient to drive manual transmissions, especially in hilly areas, because you need extra room, and you need, that's another thing you have to think about. And nobody pays any respect to that anymore. And all that's done is, at the stoplight, now everybody parks, they come up to the intersection, and they stack cars an inch apart all the way up to there. And all that's done is, hey, it's cut down everybody's response time, so now everybody's right up on each other, and they don't leave the light as efficiently because they can't tell that everybody's moving. And two, if something does happen, well, now every car is going to hit every car. So I completely side with Cubes on this one. The more we introduce things to make the stupid ball of meat inside of the car safer, we're just making the people be less safe in response. All right, now that I'm all riled up, let's look at some quality ads from the world to wrap up this week. And with the theme, we'll start with ZK. A Bronco, please
Not
introduce.
just
Holy.
Any
Oh,
Bronco.
my.
It is a 1966 EcoBoost Bronco for $69,900. It's got
Sorry.
the 3.5 EcoBoost motor in it.
Huh.
And it's a very clean build. Like, this is almost like...
Are those underwear? I think those are underwear.
To me, this looks like, if you're familiar with the Icon rebuilds of cars, and they do a lot of Broncos, this is like that, but not quite that level of insane. This is a really top-end build of a Bronco. And I really like this car.
What's a twin stick?
It's the transfer case thing. See? I don't know. Maybe I think one's the transmission, the other's the transfer case, like too high, too low, for low, or whatever. But yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Is like an old car, like the good-looking, well-designed, before they had to worry about all the safety stuff, design, plus a modern, well-engineered drivetrain. So this thing will start up and run every single day. You don't have to worry about it being, a stinky old 66 Bronco.
Of the Resto Mod stuff, this is pretty tasteful, I think.
Yeah,
Resto Mod is not my favorite.
Like, the worst thing about this is the LED headlights, and
Yep.
those are kind of like,
And I'm not a big fan of the seats taken out of like a modern Explorer. They look a little out of place. But overall, it's pretty tasteful. A funny point is the 6-point family style roll cage. I'm gonna tell you right now, that roll cage will kill you.
yeah.
If you have a roll cage like that in a vehicle and you don't have harness, if you don't have belts that lock you in place, all that cage is going to do is make your death happen a lot quicker, which I guess is a safety feature. Like, you won't suffer. You're just going to be instantly unconscious. But that is actually a terrible, terrible idea. Maybe it's good for like a rock crawler, for people, slow impacts. But if you're on the highway with this thing, and let's be honest, this thing's built for the highway, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is meant for. And you have an actual incident, that roll bar will kill you.
But it's a family-style roll cage.
It's family style, like
Family
you get down at
style.
the old country buffet.
Is there back seats?
There might be a bench.
I was going to say, where's the family? Or maybe the family style is the inheritance.
Mm.
Because somebody had a lot of money to build this thing.
Yeah, and it says they just finished it. Like,
250 miles on the build.
yeah. So they like built this thing,
Ooh, I
and
didn't see
then
that.
yeah,
Light bar.
Light bar.
it's kind of stealthy, so it's not.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
you
that
don't need it.
true. You can just take that off, though. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting to see because that's not an engine a lot of people swap into things either.
No, that's weird. That took some work.
Yeah, so I was kind of impressed by this.
And the underwear. Oh, there's LEDs in the
And the
bumper,
light
too.
bars in the back,
Oh no, you just ruined it.
yeah. It's ruined.
Those are not MeUndies, by the way. MeUndies.com/good. Kurt's best ad of the week.
My best ad of the week is for $1,000 Dodge Omni.
Volkswagen?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where they got the Volkswagen 1.7 liter Volkswagen inline 4 engine. Did Volkswagen develop these engines? Is it swapped in?
Not that I know of, but maybe
No,
they
yeah.
did.
But yeah, anyway, my sister had one of these, and it brings back some memories. I'm not going to say very fond things about it. The one thing I do remember, old cars, and you guys will back me up, the keys. The keys were not keyed on both sides. So I
Yep.
was going to work one day at the old PetSmart, see, and I'm not familiar with her car. I was borrowing it. Put the key in the ignition upside down, and boy, that's where it decided to live. So I did not go to work that day, and I stopped working at PetSmart soon after. Perhaps related.
One Datsun 620 in their garage has a key similar to that and is stuck in the ignition.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
I wonder why they made that change.
There's a dead snake in the floorboard, Kurt.
I think that's just the carpet
Okay.
pulling up under there. Or a dead
It's-
snake.
It's a 3-pedal car. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think the
never see
Dodge
these.
version, I don't think the Chrysler, they would have had like the 2200 in them. I don't think they had manuals. But I don't know if that's like Dodge put Volkswagen engines in it or if somebody did this.
So
Right.
I have the wiki open for it. Apparently, the Omni is based on a French car, the
Right.
Simca,
Right.
and those did come with the 1.7 liter from Volkswagen.
Okay.
There we go.
There you
And
go.
later they changed to like some American engine, but they did come with an actual VW engine in them.
Huh. Oh, it's an 81, so I guess it's just so early. It's before the normal 2.2 got added. Huh.
I've never seen one, especially a base Dodge Omni. Like this
Right.
isn't the Shelby.
Right, I've seen
what was it?
GLHs. and
GLHs,
Shelbys,
yeah.
Yes,
But
this one
not
only
this.
has 75 horsepower.
Hey, right up my alley.
I mean, honestly,
I know what to do
for
with those.
$1,000, it's kind of cool. Like it's
Yeah,
not
right,
something
yeah.
you would love to have. Like it's not an enthusiast car, but for $1,000, it's something that you would have like get some cool questions and stuff from at car shows and make it one cool Radwood experience, and then move it on to somebody else to enjoy. I like that people conserve cars like this. It's cool.
And
Out of a barn in Alabama.
It's a barn find.
Barn find.
Why isn't this in the Forza games?
I bought this orange-brown treasure off a friend of theirs.
Could you imagine like the YouTube comments or whatever? It's like barn find, blah, 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 blah. Dodge Omni.
Base.
Neat.
That was just neat, and that's why it's my best.
It's
The best I
just
got.
Neat. Speaking of just neat, this is something that keeps happening, and it needs to stop. This is a 2004 Infiniti G35 Coupe. On its own, a fine entry-level sports car. It is not, however, in reality, a Nissan GTR. And this one has been... I don't even want to say modified, because it honestly hasn't really been modified, other than the fact that they, like, painted up a front bumper to look like the GTR concept car.
Cone. Why is it crying?
Yeah.
See, if you look up R35 GTR concept, it had that. It had vents under the headlights that matched the headlights. It didn't make it to the production version. But what's bizarre is every one of these, and this is like the third or fourth I've seen in my area of different... One was a 350Z, one was an Altima, and this G35. They all replicate the concept car. And that's really strange.
Is that like the stock bumper? Or is
I
it
don't
like...
think it's the stock bumper.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
there's
it
something
might just
not
be
matching.
a modified. I mean, they went for the eBay, carbon fiber hood, so they probably put a bumper on it. It's also slammed in the back, but not the front. Oh, wait, is that our bumper? No, that's a different bumper, right?
Yeah, it looks
That's
like
a totally
that's a
different car.
Cadillac.
Do you remember how much they wanted for this thing?
There was no price because it is trade only for a Fox body Mustang. So they've gone from fake Infinity G35 GTR to a Fox body Mustang.
It's probably better for them. It's harder to screw up a Fox body.
I disagree. I've seen some pretty screwed up Fox bodies in my day. But would consider anything that might catch my eye. Well, if this caught your eye, then I'm concerned. And
I thought I was going to say something that may catch on fire.
This needs to. That's the best of from me for the week, and that's the show for the week. It's been very smooth. We've had no problems. I didn't have to do any editing this episode, in fact.
Oh, it was absolutely
We've
perfect.
got it down to a
Yeah.
science.
We never talk over each other. Everything's going great. And I fully appreciate everybody's support. People have generally been enjoying the show, and we definitely like seeing all of the positive comments and the stories, because whenever you talk about cars, and especially like you're going over all these weird cars, you get a lot of stories of people that are saying, hey, I had one of those, or I would not make that mistake, you're an idiot. I enjoy those kind of conversations,
Yeah.
so please keep that up.
Those stories are my favorite part.
Hey, I lived in that bus.
And on that bombshell, goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.